What is happening, guys? What is happening? It is KG, and we are back, cracking open another drink. And it is August 1st. We are officially in August, a little bit over a month away from the season beginning. And today, we had some new contests drop on Underdog Fantasy, and we're going to be ripping the Flock Community Contest. 4,800 entries. You only get 3, so 1 out of 12 advance in the first round, and then it's a 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2, and a 100-seat final. So 8% rake, one of the lowest rate contests in Underdog. So that's good. You always like to see that. So we are going to get into it after the countdown. I will see you guys after the countdown. All right, guys, like I said, August 1st, 2025. We are zooming through the year, it seems like. And I am also getting a shareable link and tweeting this out. If you guys don't follow my Twitter, make sure y'all go drop a follow. It is in the description down below. Let's see, ripping some drafts for a good while. All right, so I've been running out of things to draft. You know, I'm not a best ball mania kind of guy. So that's kind of where I've been at this year. I've not been a best ball mania guy. I already maxed the Husky. I'm doing the Flock Community Contest. I haven't really done hardly any of these contests. The Badge Bros, I'm not doing. The Sprint, I'm not doing. The Marathon, I'm not doing. Best ball mania, I'm not doing. Eliminator, I haven't touched. The Big Dog, I think $500 for one entry is a little bit out of this world. Scott Fishbowl, if I wanted in there, I could probably get in there without this contest, so I'm not going to do that as well. The Husky, like I said, I maxed. I did a few weekly winners today. So there's that tidbit. And I think I did pretty well overall. But we're going to go ahead and get into a Flock Fantasy draft here. Waiting on 5 people. If anybody wants to get in. So let me put it in Discord real quick that we are streaming and that we're chilling. Oops. Come, hang, and rip some drafts. All right. There we go. So we got 4 entries left that need to get in here to fill up. Hope everybody's having a good Friday night. Like I said, I've been kind of slowing down quite a bit. I'm not going to just throw entries away at Best Ball Mania, and I'm not going to throw entries away at the Eliminators and stuff like that. I just don't feel it's wise. And like I said, I did a couple weekly winners because I think those are actually worthwhile just to throw a few at and see what happens. We got Baker, Bryce, Bucky, Jacobs, Ken Walker, Joe Mixon, 4 guys that I feel could be potentially RB1s. Then we spammed receivers out of this world in hopes to get some upside weeks there. David and Njoku, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki just to get some tight end love. Pretty good team. This first one, Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix. We should have a QB1 every week. Running back room is going to be a little rough. We do have the Seattle guys. So if Ken Walker does happen to get hurt, Zach Charbonnet is an automatic RB1 bid every week. Travion, we hope, can be an RB1. Jalen Wright, Will Shipley, Taj Brooks making bets against the starter guys. And we got good receivers here. I feel like can be receivers, wide receiver ones most weeks, and Nico and Brian Thomas. Waddle has the upside to flash potential. So does Jaden Reed and Rashad Bateman. Evan Ingram, Jake Ferg, Noah Gray. If Travis Kelce happens to go down, Noah Gray is a tight end 1, so that helps in that regard. So let's get into the contest here. It looks like we have the 112. Not a bad spot to be at. I do like being at the back end of the draft. So that does help quite a bit. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. You know, maybe get an idea here, kind of talk it through. I do want to drop some videos, like some actual content videos, drafting from each spot. I'm going to try to get those recorded either this weekend or a little bit throughout the week, just to kind of get those started and uploaded, because I know it is draft season for a lot of people right now. So I wanted to upload a how to draft from series and have the 101, 102, 103, etc. for 12 teams. because that seems to be what the common denominator is 12 teams. And then after that, I also want to make sure that I get in some league format videos, kind of discussing how to format your league and what the best settings are for Sleeper and all these other sites that people use. Most of the time it'll be on Sleeper anyways that I'll be doing those videos on, just to showcase them, just because that seems to be pretty well standard at this point with the industry. So that's where that is. Christian McCaffrey off the board. Neighbors at the 107. Nico at the 109. That's pretty sharp. So we got a pretty sharp room, it feels like, here. I definitely would be taking Nico at the 109. I like Nico quite a bit, so makes life, a little bit harder on us because we don't really love the guys sitting here, but they're not terrible either. Achane goes off the board. That's who we were hoping to get. I think you have to go Amon-Ra St. Brown here and kind of hope that you get that kind of a season out of him again. And I'm going to go BTJ, I believe, here and start double receiver here just to make sure I get that kind of wide receiver one upside out of these guys. I do think that it is very worthwhile to do, so that's how I'm going to play it and keep things moving. So double tap the receiver position here in the next 3 picks. If value falls, we'll probably be running backs. We'll see what happens. Quarterback, maybe. Get one of the elite guys. I do have quite a bit of Josh Allen. He's in my top 3 of exposures. So that's one guy that I've been grabbing quite a bit. I just think he separates himself from the pack quite a bit. So that also for my pick on that. Jonathan Taylor at pick 18. That's interesting. I don't know what's Tyreek Hill at 19. Tyreek Hill's been flying up boards. And I kind of had an anticipation early on in season that we were not going to be getting third round time as far as this time a year. So I took a lot of my Tyreek back then that I wanted and of Tyreek just to kind of show that off. High stakes, because the high stakes stuff I have been doing has been recent, and I'm not willing to take him in the second round myself. So I get the upside. Trust me. I just don't know that I'm there with him. Chemistry doesn't seem good, and the vibes don't seem good in Miami, and the chemistry is just I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting year for the Dolphins. It seems like they're gonna be playing from behind quite a bit, so that does bode well for Tyreek in that regard. So maybe I should change my opinion a little bit, slightly, on Tyreek, because definitely they're gonna be playing from behind quite a bit. They have no defense. The Cowboys, with the recent news of Micah Parsons, I'm getting a little bit more interested in the Cowboys. Definitely kind of been pushing up George Pickens a little bit into more so this range, just because I think that they score a lot of points, and I think they do it through the air, and I think they're going to have to do it through the air, and that's the only way they're going to be able to do it. So it makes sense to me that would happen, that would be how they did it. I'm not going to go Breece Hall here. I'm not a huge Breece advocate. I do like Jaden. I think Jaden's a really fun pick. I also think Terry's a real fun pick right now. I know you're not getting them at much of a discount, but getting Terry and getting Jaden is just a stack that I want to have in this contest right now. I think this receiver room is really well-versed, really well-rounded. Obviously, we don't have running backs that we like. That's okay. We're not going to have the running back room that we want to have. But I do think we can smash running backs later and get a lot of these rookie guys that have a lot of upside this year. And it's gonna make sense in the end, ultimately speaking. George Kittle off the board at pick 40. I do think Kittle's getting a little bit more expensive. More expensive than what I'd like him to be. I think he should be more so back into this round, and instead he's going a little bit up here towards the beginning of it. I don't know. George Kittle to me is kind of a back end 4-5 turn kind of guy, and I don't really think he's worth this to me. I think McBride and Bauer. I think McBride's the tight end one for me. Bowers, I really don't get a whole lot of him. I'm going to say that, and I'm probably going to have a bunch of them somehow. Yeah, I have 5.1% of him and 8.5% of McBride. I'd rather have McBride. Kittle, I have 8.5% as well. I'd rather have Kittle and McBride, just simply put, because of relative to cost of what what Bowers is. Bowers, in my opinion, is not much better, if at all, than McBride and Kittle. I actually like McBride a little bit better, just because if he gets even 5-6 touchdowns this year, McBride's going to be a smash. And I think that bodes more than likely going to happen. Just more touchdowns in general. I think there's definitely some room to grow there. Bowers, I don't really know how much room there is. He scored most of his points in the fourth quarters. I get it. They play from behind quite a bit, so it makes sense in that regard, but he was literally the best scoring receiving option in the fourth quarter this past year. So he was averaging like 30 some yards in the fourth quarter alone. So it's 30%. It was 30% of his points in the fourth quarter. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, do you really want to count on that again? I don't, but I do. I obviously see the talent in Brock Bowers, but I just, in contests like best ball, I just don't see the value in the second round. Whenever, the guys around him are elite running backs like Bucky Chase, and you still could get Ladd McConkey, Tyreek, Jonathan Taylor. Like, these guys are all way ahead of value, I think. McBride goes after those guys, and I think McBride is very priced correctly. Sometimes you can get him in the 30s. Pick like ADP 30s, like back in here, which is really nice. I've done that a few times. So I think that's really nice when you can do that. We're 7 picks away here, and we're going to have some really tough choices at running back to make in these contests. And I think in this contest, too, with it being such a low amount of entries, I think you could really take advantage of people who really push these receivers up, because there's a lot of people pushing receivers, and I understand it. Trust me. I've been doing best ball for a few years now. I get why, but at the end of the day, like, you got to get your running backs too. I feel like getting the elite of the elite is really tough to do. And there's guys that you feel like can be the elite of the elite. Like, if you can get Kamara, Harvey, you're feeling pretty good about that. But like, I don't know, man. There's just Tony Pollard and Aaron Jones are like the last guys you feel okay about, like, being RB1s. And then the rest, it's just kind of like, you really don't even want those guys to be your RB1s, to be quite frank. See what Light Shows does here. Hopefully he goes receiver so he can smack double with running back here. Or he goes Connor. That'd be real nice if he just went Connor and moved on. I don't really want Connor. He takes Travion. That's good with me. I'll take Kamara and Harvey. It's great news for me. I'll take them. I will take them. So far we got Jaden Daniels, Alvin Kamara, RJ Harvey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Thomas, and Terry McLaurin. Pretty fun team here, I'd say. Terry's going to fall quite a bit. So I think Terry's going to be a faller. Obviously, we took him at ADP here just because I did want the stack. I don't really have this, but stack a whole lot in my portfolio. So I think this is a good place to get it, especially in a contest that's such low fields. Anyways, there's not very many people in these contests. So getting that stack is going to be fun. Even double stacking Debo would be fun. Even though Debo's already gone, I think double stacking Debo would be also a viable option. I do think Harvey is a very high upside swing that we can take. All things considered, me being a Denver fan, I kind of know what the team is. And Bo Nix is a guy who throws to his running backs quite a bit. That offense as a whole throws to the running backs quite a bit. And guess who coached Alvin Kamara before, RJ Harvey, Mr. Sean Payton, and they threw to their running backs quite a bit. Still do throw to the running backs quite a bit, because that's what Kamara is. And RJ Harvey is just like the same prototypical kind of guy. I think Harvey could be in for a really good year. Dobbins obviously is still present, and I do like Dobbins quite a bit as far as his value goes. But I do think that RJ Harvey eventually takes it over league. We got to see that RJ Harvey can take it over and really run away with the job, which I think he can do. Am I high on Harvey? No, but I do see a world where it happens, and that's kind of why you got to draft for these at some point and make it look right and get it right. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not really like my Amon-Ra St. Brown exposure going back to my round 1 pick here is really high already. That's why I don't Amon-Ra most of the time. And I'm not really taking anybody else here. Jed-T is not very high. Devon Achane, I got a decent amount of Achane. I like Achane a lot. So he went at 11. I was going to go Achane, Thomas, and smack that, but didn't happen. Is what it is. I don't really have a ton of Derrick Henry. I know I don't have a ton of A.J. Brown. So I haven't really made the bet on the Eagles offense a ton, which is a little scary, all things considered. If I can get a top 5 pick, I might go Saquon and then get Hurts and kind of capture the upside there with the run game and just get all the groundwork from the Eagles, which will be probably a top run offense in the league. Not the best. So Burrow off the board at pick 73 with the double, Jamar Higgins, and you get 2 good running backs. Like, this is a fire start. And he gets Cortland Sutton. Yeah, this is a really good team. This is what I mean by, like, drafting at the 101. Like, if you know what you're doing and you get some things to fall your way, your teams look so good. So good. Like, it's so hard for me to beat that team. On the bright side, I have Jaden Daniels and his rushing upside. I do think Terry McLaurin doesn't really weigh into the fact of his value that much if he doesn't come and play for the Commanders, but we'll see. I could always be wrong with that as well. Aaron Jones is probably the last guy here that I want running back wise. So we're kind of sort of hoping we can get him, which we do. Do we want Downs or do we want Downs? Is really like these 2 guys are the last of their tiers in my opinion. So we're going to go Downs and we're going to go Aaron Jones. I don't really care that Aaron Jones is losing goal line work. He's never really been a spectacular goal line guy anyways. Never really been a huge touchdown guy. If we look at his past years, I mean, 5, 2, 2, 4, like most of his stuff comes from the receiving game anyway. So I'm not super worried about this report that keeps coming out that he's going to be losing, goal line work to Jordan Mason. If Jordan Mason is the goal line guy, this is not the season we should be expecting. And it's troublesome to me that people think that's the season we're going to get and they're drafting him at this high. I can honestly say I don't know that I've taken Jordan Mason in any drafts. And if I have, yeah, it's been like very few. Like I have not taken him hardly ever. And Aaron Jones, I've taken a lot more. I just have a lot more confidence in that. I guess that's where my fault lies, is because if Aaron Jones goes down with injury, which very easily could happen, we could see Aaron Jones kind of be the guy there. So, take that for what it is. Or Jordan Mason, be the guy there. I said Aaron Jones be the guy there. Oh, man. But, yeah, this contest here, though, I would say is a pretty good contest to get into. Mason did say that they would be dropping these on Sunday or Friday, Sundays, and Wednesdays. So if you do see them get dropped, they're going to fill within the day. So you're going to want to throw your 3 shots at it and get it done when they drop. So I'm going to try to stream these when they go live. Hopefully the Husky fills pretty soon and we can get another decent size contest, like decent size entry fee contest in this, because I'm kind of waiting on another one of these kind of things to drop. 300, we're already almost full, like we're 30, so it's pretty tough as far as that. Dak Prescott, quarterback's getting pushed here. Get your guys. Usually they go a little bit later, but hey, man, beggars can't be choosers sometimes. See Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow. That's kind of interesting. Nobody to pair up with Brock Purdy, though, which is interesting. No stack. Maybe he's going to go for Ayuk. Hope he gets a major faller in Ayuk, which, could happen. I've seen Ayuk drop quite a bit. So, I think we're probably going to go Mixon here if he falls to us. If we get Mixon, we're feeling pretty good about our RB room, I think. Obviously, it's a 50-50% chance of Mixon missing time. I'm okay taking the chance. I'm buying it while I can, because if he does play, if they say he comes out week 1, he instantly goes back up to round 5. And you have a guy in round 5. You have 2 round 5 picks, basically. Like that. That's what I want to have. if he's gonna dip this low, like that's where I want to be. Like I'm never taking Cam Scatabo over him. I'm never taking Tracy over him. Like I'm taking Mixon. I'm not gonna be shocked if this guy takes Mixon. I just won't be at this point. He's the best running back available. It's not even really remotely close. And he goes Dobbins. I mean, interesting. I mean, I'm definitely gonna go Mixon in the tight end. Mixon and give me Tucker Kraft. That's beautiful. I mean, this is a really good start. I like my RB room quite a bit. I do like how it panned out for us. I think Kamara is a great RB, a good value there. Harvey has some upside. Aaron Jones is a pretty stable kind of guy. Mixon, we're just hoping can be healthy. And if he gets back on the field, we're looking at a 108, pick round 10. If we go back, regular season, Joe Mixon gets announced starting week 1. Look at the guys that he's getting picked around. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, whether you like him or not, he was an RB1 last year. And this is a ridiculous set of names to be drafted ahead of him. So there's just no way in my theoretical mind I can just let Joe Mixon fall past that point. Unless there's news that has come out about his injury that I just don't know about, I don't see it. I mean, sure, if you want to say this, sure. But, here's the problem, right? Even if he misses a few weeks, let's just say, we don't need him at this point to be a guy for us early on. We already have Kamara, we have Aaron Jones, and some probably spike potential with Harvey. We don't need him to be that guy the first few weeks. If he's back by the last few weeks, like the last half of the year, let's just say, and he's fully ready to go and Houston's in competitive mode, this is a guy who can win you some upside. Like if you're saying you have Joe Mixon, that's an RB1 at back half of the year. And you got this kind of a receiver core, like this is beautiful to me. You got some week 17 correlation here with Aaron Jones and Amon-Ra. Jackson kind of hoping we get T-Law. That's kind of that's the hope. Because we really don't have another clear set stack that we want to get, at least for now. Love's already off the board. We'll probably have to backstack. And the guy doesn't even go. The guy goes T-Law with no Jacksonville Jag as his second quarterback. I don't get that one. That's okay though. I'll take a faller here in Njoku. A really big faller. I'll take it. I mean, Njoku's a fun one to click. Who else can we get here that's makes sense? We're probably done at tight end. Do we need to bring a quarterback up? Not really. I don't really want Stroud. Well, no, we don't want Jake. Tell you what, we're gonna click Ray Davis here. It's kind of a handcuff that we like to have. He makes a lot of sense for this team just because of the factors that are weighed in with this team. I don't think we need him early on. We got guys who are early on already. I think we already have some pretty decent RBs and we need to add some depth to it. So I do think this isn't a terrible choice. I do think next round we're going to have to smack a quarterback, though, and figure that out. Maybe we go a Geno rookie double. That could work. We could go a Rich Josh Downs stack. I'm not really, making my decisions based on a stack, to be honest. But if it's there, then that's great. Stroud really wasn't even a faller either. So it made sense for me not to take him. I mean, take that for what it is. It kind of sucks that guy went Trevor Lawrence. That kind of hurt our draft a little bit. That's okay though. We can still manage this team quite a bit here. I have been getting Njoku and Kraft, like two of those guys at that tight end 10-ish range. I think one or two of them could end up moving up into the top 5, top 7. kind of tight ends. I do think they have their upsides. So I think it's a really good play to do that. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. On running back still sitting here. I like Tank. Tank's finally moved up in price. People are starting to catch on with Tank, which makes sense. Benson is another guy that I really like. Miles Sanders a little bit later is a guy I really like. I think Sanders is kind of mispriced still. He's probably going to get clicked quite a bit by me. Samson was a guy that I was clicking last round, and honestly, that's where I got a ton of my Samson from, and I probably won't be clicking him much any other time. So Tua, based off of points alone, could be decent. I'm not banking on it, but it could be a decent play for QB2, especially when your QB1 is Jaden Daniels. By week 12, they're the same bye week, so that really doesn't help me a whole lot. I think Geno Smith has a lot of upside too. If we see a season like this like he had with Pete Carroll, look out. I don't think he has the weapons to do that. We saw Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I don't really think he has the weapons to do that. So sorry if I sound a little bit under the weather. My nose is a little bit runny. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there's a lot of potential with this team. It's nice. It's nice. A lot of arguing going on in the Discord right now. I saw something about Rashad White. Interesting. A lot of interesting comments getting made in the Discord right now. I think if we go Geno, we double tap here. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. We go Geno and Besh, kind of move them both up here. Make sure that we get them. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see. Honestly, Besh can fall. We'll let Besh fall to us. If he falls, great. If not, we'll get Thornton. Because I think Dobbs is a lot better as far as a receiver goes. And we get a little bit of Green Bay optionality here. I do like Green Bay as an offense a lot. I don't have a lot of Ravens for the week 17 part of it, but it's fine. At the end of the day, draft what you like, and I like Green Bay, and I think that if they're gonna be a good team, they're gonna need Jordan Love to be good, and I think they could be a good team this year. So it makes a lot of sense for me to be able to get some Green Bay action here, and see what happens. Kraft and Romeo Dobbs might ping pong off each other. Who knows? But I do think it's not a bad look. I'm kind of looking to see who the Raiders week 17 is. I'm pretty sure it's the Giants. Yeah, it's the Giants. So we'll probably get like a little Dante Thornton, Slayton action. Let's see. Dante Thornton, Slayton action, maybe. I don't know that we need Eckler, but Eckler could be a good fit too to this team. Krosky, where's Krosky Merritt? Yeah, Krosky could be good. Harquez. These are guys I just like to keep queued. Nongai, Burchard, Giddens, Sanders, Taj. Just a lot of guys here that I just like to keep queued. Just in case I kind of like have a little bit of a panic of what I want to do. So I don't know that we're going to need a third quarterback. We'll see what the board gives us, but as of right now, I'm leaning towards no on that. Should be able to have the upside to get you 30. And to have that as your wide receiver 3 is really nice. Then you have some flex appeals, Kamara and Aaron Jones will probably start every week. for early on. Then Harvey, we hope, picks up some steam. And it starts to be a little bit of a competition between these three. And then Mixon comes back. And then you got 4 guys here that could potentially all go off and fill the flex instead of a receiver. Which, I mean, Downs and Dobbs, let's be honest, those guys are fun, especially Downs. But I don't know how many weeks they're going to have to where it's like 20-plus point potentials other than Downs. Dobbs, I don't know that has that in his realm of outcome. Bash could fall to us, and we could get a double stack here and bank on one of those bank on them to ping pong off each other to where maybe one of them works. And if you can just say if one of them gets 150 points, it's a successful pick. Obviously it takes up 2 roster spots, but one of them works out, then great. Geno Smith, we're making that bet that Geno's going to be good at quarterback. And we're saying maybe Brock Bowers isn't that great. Or we're saying Jacoby Myers maybe gets injured, and Jacoby Myers is a trade candidate, and they trade away Jacoby Myers in the back half of the year. Dante Thornton, Jack Besh is kind of like the future of this team. That's another bet that we could be taking with this. So I think it's all very interesting approaches to what you can do as far as these later rounds go. We're 7 picks away. Like I said, I had a feeling Jack Besh could fall. Didn't fall to us. Is what it is. He does fall to pick 173, which I've seen him fall a lot further than that. So that's kind of why I took the chance of not double tapping him. I am glad that I didn't and took Dobbs instead. I'd prefer Dobbs to him just for the simple fact of I know he's going to play every week. I am going to take Dante Thornton here, though, and I think we're going to go Dante Thornton. I think we're going to go Wandale over Slayton. I think it makes some sense to do this and get like a 2-7-7-2 kind of build. I don't know that really there's no quarterback here that really makes a whole lot of sense other than Rodgers. And even Rodgers, I don't have a weapon of his either. So, I mean, it's just simply, do you want to have a third guy there? Yes or no? And my answer usually to that question is no. You could go Russ, I guess, if you really wanted to get weird with it. Could go Russ. There's a lot of I don't think we need a receiver. I think we already got our receivers done. So our receivers, we have Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Josh Downs, Romeo Dobbs, Dante Thornton, and Wan'Dale Robinson. A lot of decent upside swings there, I think, at receiver. Tucker Kraft, David Njoku, I think we're good at tight end. Running backs, obviously, we were taking Kamara, Harvey, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Ray Davis. I think that's fun. Jaden Daniels, Geno Smith, I do think is a very viable play. I do think Jaden Daniels is the quarterback 2 behind Josh Allen. I think Lamar's quarterback 3 this year. I just expect Lamar to have a lot of regression throwing the football. I don't think he's going to do what he did last season, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. Here at pick 190. Rumor has it he's going to be with the Chargers. So I'm not thrilled about that landing spot, but we've seen it work, obviously, over his whole entire career. He's been there. So definitely makes a lot of sense for the Chargers and Keenan as far as that goes to see if they can reignite the flame one last time with Herbert. And Herbert already has the chemistry with him. So we've seen years with him being an elite talent. He is my top receiver drafted right now in Underdog just because of where I can get him at price. I think if he lands on the Chargers, we're looking at a guy who is the second best receiver on the team right then and there, like at the snap of your fingers. Lad McConkey's obviously the number 1 there. I think it could be fun. Keenan's a slot guy, though, so it's interesting. It'd be an interesting fit. I don't know how it would work, but I think it could. I think Keenan could play the outside. I think he's good. I think he's crafty enough to be on the outside, but I don't know how great he is out there. Tesla off the board and pick round 17. I get it. He looked good in the preseason game. I'm not there at all with him. I'm still not drafting him. He's still not really on my board. Jalen Royals off the board. Calvin Austin off the board. I'd rather have Darius Slayton than all those guys, by the way. Just wanted to make that public acknowledgement that Darius Slayton is being extremely undervalued in this draft, in this room specifically. You go Giants double here. That'd be interesting. and you just say these running backs are good enough, and you take one more running back at the end, and you have like a 2-6-8-2. I mean, that's interesting. Slayton's still sitting there, man. Like, I think Slayton has a lot of value, personally. Especially with Russell Wilson being there now. Like, I really think he's a very valuable piece, and I don't know how he hasn't been taken yet. I think what we might do is just say the running backs here are good. Mixon's going to be fine. We're making that bet that Mixon's going to be fine, and we're going to go Slayton. And I want to go Russ, man, but like I don't know where Russ fits into this team. So we take Taj Brooks or Marquez Hunter. I'm going to go Taj Brooks. I think he has a little bit more of a role. I also think that Chase Brown I'm not going to say more likely to get hurt, but I do think that the tread on the tires for Chase Brown, they're not going to give it all to him again. I think Taj Brooks relieves some of that, and I do think he has his own little standalone value. I do think as a last-round pick, it's a really solid click. So there's a team. We have a 2-6-8-2 build. Jaden Daniels, Geno Smith, Alvin Kamara, RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Ray Davis, Taj Brooks, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Jerry McLaurin, Josh Downs, Romeo Dobbs, Dante Thornton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Tucker Kraft, and David Njoku rounding out that team. I do want to see here kind of who gets left undrafted in the running back department. Kyle Monangai is going to get undrafted, it looks like. Joe Flacco goes off the board, which is interesting, paired up with Jerry Jeudy. Must be his third quarterback, maybe. Yep, third quarterback, and he's got two crappy ones behind Josh. So I get it. I'm not willing to draft away. Coker has not been drafted. Ray is a very viable choice. KLS is here. I think Noah Brown could be a very awesome choice right now. A.D. Mitchell is another guy that I'd click. Jalen Lane would be a guy I'd really want to click right now. Westbrook Akine is okay. Elick Ayamaner is another guy that I think could be a wide receiver too for the Titans. And if you think Cam Ward is good, Tyler Lockett's interesting too. Like the Titans receivers are really interesting because they're all dirt cheap except for Ridley. So I think they could all be really good values come draft day. So coming into draft number 2, we need 5 more people to join. So 5 more people, 4 more people in the flock contest. Let me go ahead and put it in Discord real quick. I'm sure it'll fill pretty quick, but all right. Two people. 2 more. If y'all want, we can put on some copyright free music here. Let's see. Copyright free. Oh, we got the 102. One so close to the 101. I almost prefer either the 101 or the 105. And the reason being is because I don't really know who to take at the 102. Because honestly, Bijan and CD to me are pretty equal. I also think Gibbs could make a case. It's just tough because I feel like there's so many guys there that are fine. That are fine choices that make a lot of sense. All right. So let me see if it's too loud real quick before I continue on. Okay, we should be good. Oh, y'all can hear me sniffling and stuff. I feel like trash. We're gonna go Bijan here. I just think Bijan's the clear pick here. Bijan to me is my favorite of the 3. It goes Bijan, Gibbs, Saquon for me right now. I really like Bijan. Oh, I should probably say his name how he says it. Bijan. I like Bijan quite a bit. That just sounds so weird to say. But yeah, I like Bijan quite a bit. I think he's the RB1 this year. I don't know. I mean, Saquon obviously could repeat. I mean, his situationally speaking, I think Saquon's in a little bit better of a spot. But I also think that the Falcons are in a place where Bijan should be the featured guy, and Saquon doesn't necessarily have to be for the Eagles. So I think Bijan is a guy also. The Falcons are going to be in closer games than the Eagles most of the time. And I think there could be times where Saquon Barkley literally just sits on the bench. So Derrick Henry off the board over CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey. That's a horrible pick, by the way. I'm glad we have people like that in this room, though. That's good to note, at least. That we have people like that in the room. So not so very... I'm not going to say smart because that's not the right word, but not some things that I would do. CeeDee Lamb at the 107 is extremely nice. That's an extreme faller. As the 107 pick, I would be ecstatic because I consider CeeDee Lamb at the 103. So as the 107 drafter, I'd be ecstatic if you get CeeDee Lamb there. I mean, goodness. You get a healthy guy who's going to contend for the receiver 1 spot at 107. It's pretty nice, if you ask me. Because then you could go CeeDee Lamb and like AJ Brown, or CeeDee Lamb and Drake London even potentially. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Oh, goodness. Neighbors off the board, Malik Collins, Brian Thomas at pick 9. It's really early for Brian Thomas in my eyes. Puka Nacua at 112. Puka and Amon-Ra, that's a really good start if you take it. Don't know why you wouldn't, but he doesn't. So Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra, that's also a very good start. Like, these guys get such good starts handed to them, and they're like it's just, the turn is so crazy because you could get 2 elite guys, 2 very, very elite guys. Because, like, honestly, all the way to about Ladd or AJ Brown is kind of a tier of its own, like, with receiver regards. I think after Ladd, it drops off quite a bit. Like, I don't know that I really love Tyreek Hill. T. Higgins is fine. After T. Higgins, it definitely drops. It takes a significant drop because, realistically speaking, the upside of, like, Garrett Wilson and the difference in upside between him and, let's just say, Cortland Sutton or Calvin Ridley, like, how different really are they in my eyes? They really aren't that much different in my eyes. So, especially like Ridley versus Garrett, like I don't know that they're that different. I get it, Garrett Wilson gets more volume, probably gets more targets, but really, does he really get that much more to warrant a 3rd round selection, early 3rd? I don't think so. Same with Adams. It's like Adams is a second piece in his offense. I get it. JSN is an alpha in his offense. I love JSN. I'd probably put JSN up closer to this tier than the tier that he's currently in. I think another thing that's real interesting about these rooms is, like, people really just let the running backs fall. Like, you can get an RB1 in the 2nd round pretty easily. Like, Bucky Irving, Chase Brown, like, those guys are really good. Amarion, I've been pushing him up quite a bit. I think there's some very interesting choices here. Bucky off the board. I will say if Brock falls to us here, we're taking him. At this price, I'm willing to jab. I'm more than willing to jab and tango at this price. Yeah, okay. This is where things get a little difficult for me. Because you could go Higgins, you could go Reek. I think we're going to go Chase Brown. Actually, let's go Tyreek Hill, because if we go Tyreek Hill here, we're going to take a little bit of a gander here and go Evans. I want to play this a little bit to where this is going to be a kind of fun team to see play out. I think it could be really good or it could be really bad. Could go either way. I definitely think it's in a realm of outcome where this is a very fun team, just because of the Week 17 optionality here of having these guys. Week 17, we see Miami versus Tampa Bay. Could be fun. Could be really fun. Could be a matchup we really want to have. And the Dolphins week 17, 16, and 15 schedule. Obviously, 15 is not pretty with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but 16, 17, you got the Bengals and you got the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, what more can you ask for? Tampa Bay, they have Atlanta, Carolina, and Miami. So, like, I mean, we get a lot of correlation with this too. It makes some sense in those last 3 weeks. So I think it's fun. I do. I think it's truly fun. I haven't been a big Mike Evans drafter this year. But I mean, realistically, has he shown signs of slowing down? No, when he's on the field. He's got to be on the field, though. That's the thing with Mike Evans. He's getting to that age where it's really difficult to keep him on the field. So you got to watch out for that. He's getting to that age where it's, pretty hard to keep him consistently out there as much as he probably wants to be out there. So that part of his game is kind of hard to predict. But I do think when he's on the field, like I said, he's one of the best still. I mean, like I said, we see Bijan, Tyreek, Mike. I think this is a really fun team, and it's correlated somewhat. Marvin Harrison, big faller here. I would be clicking Marvin Harrison here. The 3-4 turn, that's a really good spot for Marv. You get Marv, Achane, and Puka. That's a really good value. If he doesn't click Marv, then he's just dumb. I mean, getting Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Marvin Harrison, and George Kittle would be nuts. Getting Marvin Harrison a part of this team would also be pretty nuts. There's a lot of nuts things that could, I mean, that's what I would have done too. Like that's a really good team start right here. Elite quarterback, elite running back, 2 elite receivers. That's a pretty dang good start, if you ask me. Jalen Hurts off the board. So the elite quarterbacks are gone. Unfortunate for us. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like, you have to live and learn sometimes, and sometimes you just don't get the elite quarterbacks. And that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So James Cook still sitting here. I'd be fine with James Cook. I'd also be fine with Ken Walker. I think those guys have a little bit more potential. Hubbard's interesting. Hubbard's a guy that I'm interested in for sure in these higher stakes contests because I feel good about him. And his schedule is not that bad for 15, 16, 17. And I like the Panthers as a whole this year. I mean, I think they're really good as a team. So they make a lot of sense to me as to where they go. So we're going to take James Cook here. Actually, is there any receivers we want? Because that's probably going to get pushed to us. Probably not. So we're probably just going to go James Cook. I think we're good with James Cook as a fall here. Ken Walker goes off the board for his third RB. I don't blame him. We're going to really get in the weeds here of taking probably Chuba or Kamara. I like them both. I think we're going to go Chuba, though. I just prefer Chuba to Kamara this year, and half-point PPR especially. So we have Bijan, Cook, Chuba, Tyreek, Mike Evans. Pretty solid. Most people would probably go Waddle just to get more correlated here. I don't want to over-correlate, so I think we get an RB who's eventually going to figure out their contract situation with James Cook. I don't see the Bills not paying him, honestly. And if they don't, he's going to land somewhere else that is probably favorable. The Cowboys, for example, could be one place. Just throwing out some ideas that I think could be options for James Cook. I just don't see really any way they don't get that resolved. That's where I'm at. So The Travis Hunter thing, I get it. Like, I get the hype. I get what, I'm not there on the vision with it. Personally, it's not landing for me. I get it. He's shown some really good ball skills. I don't know if I'm there, man. It's hard to take him this early. Whenever I know in earlier drafts he was going in the 130s or 140s, and I have him there. So it's been tough for me to get to Travis. We'll put it that way. Recently, we have a little bit of him, but not a ton. I mean, Etienne, as you can see, we're a little bit high on. I'm not clicking Etienne probably anytime soon again, just for the simple fact of I don't think he's worth the click for me anymore. So Rome Odunze is still sitting there. I don't think we're going to be able to get Rome, but if we can get Pearsall on this team or Diggs or Reed, realistically speaking, I like a lot of these guys in this range. I like the receivers in this range more than the running backs. If you want to lean into the rookie running backs, I get it because they have a lot of upside here. I just personally would rather take guys that I know produce in the running back position because it is such a hard thing to get. So Swift is fun. I'm not sure that I'm going to take him, though. Yeah, Swift goes off the board. Not really surprised in that regard. Let's see. Bengals also have Miami, which is interesting, in their Week 16 schedule. You know, you could go Burrow here and really fuddy-dud up the draft. So you know this guy's probably going to want to go Burrow. You could go Burrow and get the later stacks of Yoshi-Vash. Could go Yoshi-Vash and Gesicki. Oh, this guy gets him with T. Higgins. Okay. So that makes a little bit of sense. He has T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton. Like, that receiver room is going to have a hard time keeping up with this room. I just have that feeling. Addison falls all the way here. I'm gonna go Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison is a very boom player. I like his production quite a bit. And I do think he's a really good pick here. Diggs goes. We hope Jaden Reed doesn't go here. If he does, that sucks for us. We're just going to double up on Tampa Bay and go Emeka Egbuka. Take the guys who are... Actually, we might do that anyway. I think we're going to do that anyway. It's really hard to take rookies in this one, though. Reed off the board. Well, I mean, I think we're going to do it anyway. We're going to go Emeka Egbuka. I just think it makes a lot of sense to get a Tampa Bay double in here along with Tyreek. Because let's be real, Tampa Bay is a team. Every week, one of these guys is going to absolutely crush. And I'm not shying away from that. I really need to get more Bucks. As you guys can see, my Buccaneers exposures are not that high, and I really need to get them up. I don't feel comfortable with them being this low, especially my Emeka Egbuka exposure. I don't love that. But he's been pushed up so high in boards. I'd much rather take Jaden Reed. And usually I was taking running backs there as well. But I think this makes a lot of sense. I think if we get Baker here and get like the double stack going, I think it makes a lot of sense to go this route. Godwin is still sitting there as well. If we can get through this line of guys here, like this guy and this guy on both ends, well, really, just this end, we're okay. If Godwin gets through this guy, we're fine. These two guys here, then we at least probably have Baker. I would think. We got to get through this guy, though. Because he could go Godwin, Baker, and just double stack it, which I don't think he's going to do because he's already got Jaden. Doesn't make much sense for him to. And I got the double already, so it doesn't make much sense for anybody else to go Baker. So... Hawkinson off the board. Hawkinson, to me, is a guy who's fallen quite a bit in these rooms, but I understand why. It's hard for me to see a world where Hawkinson is much better than Kelsey, or really any of these guys. Andrews, Ingram, like, he's kind of slowly but surely faded into that tier for me, because I like Addison so much, and obviously Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. And we're talking about a rookie quarterback, and I don't think the rookie quarterback can feed all three of these guys. I think they're going to have to rely a little bit more on Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, and that's why they have both of them, because they know they're going to have to rely on the run game a little bit more than previous years. So that, to me, makes some sense. Godwin is still sitting here. I mean, you're not going to go Tampa Bay triple. That's just not happening. Yeah. Godwin off the board. Now we just got to hope the guys with no quarterbacks don't, do it to us. Which this guy here should go Mahomes, I would think. Yeah. Okay. And then this guy's a wild card. I don't know what he's going to do. I have no idea what this guy's going to do. He's a wild card. He might go Kyler for the rushing upside. This guy would go Dak, maybe. Dak or Fields. Both make a little bit of sense. I don't think Baker makes sense for any team that doesn't have a Tampa Bay guy. Cooper Kupp off the board. This guy's already got a quarterback in Burrow. Like I said, this guy, he may not even go quarterback. He may go Jaden Higgins and just smack another receiver. Oh, Jaden Higgins off the board. Okay. Never mind. We got to sweat out one more pick. I don't know what this guy's going to do either. Trying to predict. This has got to be a Justin Fields pick, right? Yeah, okay. We're going to go Baker. We're not going to play around. We're just going to get Baker, get our double, and move on. Makes sense for us to do that. Let's see. I think we would be okay. We can get Tua later. If we want to get Tua. We don't have to get to Tua. I think it's okay if we do, though. Is there anybody on the flip side that we could do that makes some sense here? Not really. I think we're going to go Andrews. Money man Andrews. One of my favorite tight ends to draft this year. Extremely undervalued. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad choice. It's going to be naked Andrews, which, I mean, he has Cincinnati, New England, Green Bay as a schedule for the last three. I think that's pretty solid. Overall, Jared Goff off the board. Quarterbacks seem to get a little bit pushed up in this contest. Maybe we could have went Carolina, like Bryce Young, a lot later. Maybe we went Carolina, Bryce Young. I don't know. We could have. New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Seattle. I mean, we had a really fun schedule there too. So, but I definitely wanted to grab one of those tight ends there. I think it makes a lot of sense. There's a world where Andrews falls out of the top 7 or 8 tight ends. I know that, but I also think there's a world where he regains his top 5 status as well. So I think there's a world where we see him pass up Hawkinson and Kelsey this year. I do see that as a world. So contract year, playing for quite a bit, trying to redeem himself to the fan base. A lot of good there. So I like the upside that I get with Mark Andrews. So far we got Baker, Bijan, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, and Emeka Egbuka, and then Mark Andrews as the tight end. Have some functionality here at the flex spot. Receiver 3 spot, we have a little bit of functionality there, or flexibility as well. Addison's going to be gone. We know the first probably week or two. It's fine. Not really a huge deal to me. I think we're getting a guy who should be going around this Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Calvin Ridley range if he didn't miss time. So getting him in the 7th round is a pretty good discount, I would say. Or 6th round, late 6th, early 7th, whatever you want to say. Pretty good discount, I would say. Tyler Warren off the board. I do like Warren quite a bit as a tight end too. Just kind of like if you smack Kelsey, you smack Warren the following round and you get Kelsey Warren. And it's kind of like, okay, well, I got a guy who's got a lot of upside and I got a guy who's kind of got a floor. So you kind of get the best of both worlds in that regard. I think that's a fun way to play it. Trey Harris, I think, is kind of sort of going down people's boards for one reason and one reason only, and it has to do with Keenan Allen getting a lot of buzz. So it makes sense. Brock Purdy fallen quite a bit here. I'd take Brock Purdy or Drake. I'm okay with either one. Taking them naked is fine in this format. Like I said, I think just getting a guy who gives you projectable points, especially at this big of a discount, is pretty huge. And you're going to get one of them now. So I do think that is very valuable. If another one didn't go. So we're going to wait. We're going to wait one more pick. And we're going to go Loveland. And actually, we're going to go Kraft and get that direct correlation. We like Tucker Kraft on this channel quite a bit. So we're going to make sure we get that correlation. If you want to go with one of those guys, you can. But I'm going to make sure we get that correlation. Brock Purdy here, obviously, he's going to be naked for us. But I'm okay with that. You know, I'm more than happy to get projectable points here. Especially 20 picks after ADP. Like 2 rounds past where Brock Purdy typically goes. Getting him in the 11th is super nice. People worry about stacks a lot. I'm trying to get projectable points, and if I'm getting them at that big of a value, I'm just going to take them, and keep it moving. Strange probably thought he was going to get Brock Purdy. He pushed it, didn't pay out for him, so he tried to take Luther Burden. We took Loveland, and we got Tucker Kraft, and we got that. So, beggars can't be choosers sometimes, and he was trying to beg, and I took advantage of it. Obviously, Brock Purdy really doesn't have any correlation with this team. It's fine. I'm not really too sad about it. There's not really any Bears guys I want to get either. It's for that Week 17 San Fran kind of thing that we got going here, but there's not really anybody I want to take. So it's kind of tough for me to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm going to be able to get some correlation somewhere with this team. Then Indy, Tennessee. I mean, there's maybe some room you could get some Lockett or something for a week, but I don't love that either. I think quarterback we're done. Tight end maybe we're done. Receiver we definitely need some work. Receiver is going to be a lot of work. I think we're going to have to try to get some guys that have some boom potential, because we got a lot of guys who probably have good floors, I would say. I don't know that we have a lot of room for ceiling. Emeka's obviously ceiling. Addison, he's boomer bust. Evans is very floory. Tyreek is hopefully boomy. I just kind of hope we can have some stability here. It's kind of the goal. If we could build some stability out. Palmer, who I think is probably going to be the number 2 option there behind Shakir. Douglas is another guy I really like. Dobbs, obviously. Pat Bryant, another upside swing. I think Thielen's kind of fun. Wandale's fun. Pierce is fun. There's a lot of different options here. Quentin Johnston, Cedric Tillman's fun. There's some optionality here. That's what the long story is here. There's a good amount of optionality here. Nick Chubb off the board at 135. That's just too early for me. Nick Chubb at 135 is ridiculous, in my opinion. Especially getting him with Mixon. Like that's just stupid to me. It's just not something I'm willing to do. Trey Benson. Tank Bigsby off the board at pick 139. Kyle Williams pick off 140. I think Garendo could be a guy that maybe we click just as a guy who does catch the ball out of the backfield if McCaffrey goes down. I think that's an option here. I think that's the option we're going to ride here. We're going to take our receiver first, though, in Tillman. We don't really have a lot of Tillman, but I do think Tillman is a guy that you can take and be okay with. Palmer goes off. Probably should have looked at his team first. Palmer's really good. I really like the Palmer click. Like I said, I think Garindo's a decent click here. We're going to get him off the board here. At least we have some Niner stuff kind of going here. Nothing really super crazy. Now I think we really need to wait until the final round to get our last guy here. So I think we start looking at receivers here that we really like and kind of sort of just start picking and choosing who we want to make sure we target, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see. Who else do we have? I know McMillan is also an option, maybe, to where, you know, we're maybe considering a McMillan here. But I don't really think we need to consider McMillan if we have Igbuka and Evans, unless you think this offense is just going to be just the most insane offense ever, which I think 2 double stacking is plenty. I don't think you need to go any more than that. So Javonte off the board. Let's see. See, like his receiver, like having Ted as a receiver 1 is interesting. I just don't know where it stacks up against these guys. He does get Godwin, though, which is kind of nice to see. He has Godwin on that team because it makes a lot of sense to get Godwin on a team like that. I don't think we're going to need QB. I think 2 is plenty on this team. So I think we could kind of eliminate looking at quarterbacks. I do think we need to look at every other position, though, still. Not really a position that we can rule out yet. I do think what RB is great. Depends on what kind of functionality we get at tight end. That, like, if something falls to us and it makes sense, we'll take it. Like, if Hunter Henry's still sitting there, we might take it. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else maybe we could go. I mean, the Patriots have a tough schedule. Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Jets. Like, that's just about as tough can be the last 3 weeks. So Hunter Henry would be more so used as an advance rate play, and that just doesn't make sense in this case. Zach Ertz makes some sense. Giants, Philly, Dallas. That makes a lot of sense to me. Gesicki doesn't really make sense to me. I know it's probably the top offense, but I don't know how much I love that offense right now. As far as tight end position goes, with the addition of Noah Fant, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think Ertz is a very interesting choice. I think we go Ertz and like Adam Thielen to provide some stability in this room. Just to have a little bit more stability. Let's see. Gesicki goes. Go ahead and take Zach Ertz. That's probably it at tight end for us. The rest is probably going to be receiver. We got, 3 receivers? 2 receivers left? 3 receivers? 3 receiver clicks and 1 running back probably is probably what we're going to be looking at. I'd take a guess. Thielen or Bryce Young goes. God, don't take Adam Thielen. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't hurt me. Yes. Ooh, Alec Pierce is sitting there too. Alec Pierce is a really good upside swing. Oh, do we want Alec Pierce or do we want Thielen? Likely, Adam Thielen is more likely to fall. Alec Pierce is less likely to fall. I'm going to go Alec Pierce. I don't really think Thielen's going to fall, but I've seen him fall a lot in rooms because people just aren't excited about him. So, he could. In theory, he could. I mean, I don't think it's likely, but it's definitely possible. I definitely do think it's possible. A lot of people like to draft upside, and I get that. Trust me, I'm very, very well familiar with that. It's just at some point, some of these guys, the prices, they're just right. So we'll just have to see what happens. A-Rich off the board. Jalen Knoll off the board. See what I mean? Like, a lot of these guys are just drafting rookies for upside. And I think that's a very viable play. I just think in some of these rooms, it's not a bad thing to have a little bit of stability, especially in smaller field contests. We just need to get guys through. In a 1 of 12 especially, it's really hard to get through. Because Adam Thielen, yeah, I mean, we tried. It is what it is. We tried. It's not like we didn't try. But he kind of needed that Adam Thielen pick. I mean, Coleman is not very stable. He takes McMillan too. Like, he takes some guys there that are interesting because, I mean, McMillan's not very stable. Or Keon Coleman's not very stable. Rashad Bateman's not very stable. Mims is not very stable. But Thielen and McMillan's not very stable either. But Thielen's one of the definitions of it. Like, he's one of the best to do it, I do think Miles Sanders is interesting on this team. Because realistically speaking, he's a projectable starter that could be a starter off day one. So, do I think it's a very good starter? No, but I think it has some correlation with it as well. I do believe that. So, let's see, Cowboys, Minnesota, Chargers, Washington. Not a lot of correlation in this one for me, but if he falls this far, like, we're taking him, 100% taking him. That'll be our last running back, and then we'll just click a bunch of receivers here. Call it a day. So I think we can take Keenan Allen and be fine, too. I don't care about a knee bruise, to be honest. We're going to get him. And 191, that feels like an insane value to me. All things considered here. I do think Fat Keenan is going to be a very viable option as a guy who can maybe be a receiver 3 for us some weeks, especially if he's with the Chargers. I'm definitely going to click him here. I'm not going to take any chances. I think it's an interesting click at this point. I told myself I was going to try to not draft more Keenan, but I mean, at this price, man, it's just so hard for me not to. It's just so hard for me not to. Then this last click, we're going to go for upside here. And I think we're going to take either Elick or Royals, somebody like that can swing for the fences as a rookie, maybe get an opportunity and really run with it. And I think Elick is probably at the top of the list for that choice. Royals is definitely second. I don't really know. Jalen Lane could be up in that tier as well. If we play devil's advocate here for a little bit and we say, Terry McLaurin is gone. I don't see that happening. If we go to DraftKings, or not DraftKings Sportsbook, we can see kind of what the odds are right now for it. I don't think they're very high for him to leave. We'll go take a peek at it real quick just to show it. Let's see. roster specials. Yeah, here we go. So this is the Micah Parsons deal. This is the Terry deal. Minus 350 for him to stay. Patriots, Raiders, Titans, Chargers, Browns. I don't see any of these options really feasibly happening. Parsons, minus 300. This could be interesting to see. So, but I don't really see the Terry McLaurin thing really anything shaking up there. If it does, obviously could be wrong, but that's why I'm kind of still hesitant on Jalen Lane a little bit. If we get Elick, though, Elick would be a really nice pick for this team. Makes a lot of sense. Slayton is another guy. Like, Slayton's going to be at the top of my list. Obviously, he's not a rookie, but if I get Slayton, that's big play upside, and we know what he is. That's what we want out of this team. And if we can get a guy like that, that's big. It's big for us. As bad as Hopkins was last year, we still saw 119 points from him. So that's interesting. I mean, there's not really a lot of guys at this range that can produce 120 points in a year. Ray McLeod definitely had his moments. Yoshibaj had his moments. Troy Franklin was fun last year. I think there's a lot of guys here that could potentially help your team. Coker goes off the board. We get Slayton. So we're definitely clicking Slayton at 215. So yeah, that's the team. Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Isaac Guerrero, Miles Sanders, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, Emeka Egbuka, Cedric Tillman, Alec Pierce, Keenan Allen, Darius Slayton, Mark Andrews, Tucker Kraft, and Zach Ertz rounding it out. I like that team a lot, actually. I really, really, really like that team. We got one more Flock community contest to go. As you can see, from the last time we checked, it was 33% filled. Now it's 47. It's almost 50% filled. This will be filled by tomorrow morning. So if you guys haven't already, make sure y'all go get your entries in. $30 to max, nothing crazy. That's what I like about these contests, though. Is it's $30 to max. Kind of get some drafting in. I think it's tough because it's only 1 out of 12 to advance, though. If you do advance, then you're at a 1 out of 2 seat final. Basically, you have a 25% chance of making the 100-seat final. And if you make the 100-seat final in this, that's really nice, all things considered. I thought I got the 101 there for a second. You make the finals in this contest, you get $50. I mean, that's pretty good. So, especially for a $10 entry. You just got to make the final, though. You make the final, that's when you make money. So, and we get Jamar Chase at the 101. Very good. We do get a 101, 102, and a 112. I like that. We got both ends of the spectrum in this stream. So that's kind of cool for me. It's nice. It's easy. We get another Jamar Chase share, which I don't get a lot of these days. So it's kind of hard to get Jamar. I mean, when Jamar's always the 101, it's really difficult to get to him in drafts. I mean, 7.3%, we're about on average with him. It's really hard to get to him. So, sometimes you just beggars can't be choosers. I'm definitely hyped to get Jamar Chase. I mean, projection-wise, obviously on Underdog, they have him, 40 points. They're 20 points ahead of anybody, almost 30 points ahead of everybody, which is kind of crazy to think about. But, I mean, realistically, what's changed? If anything, the defense has gotten a little worse, and this offense is going to have to perform like they did last year to win games. And people think they're going to win games. So, Jamar Chase makes a lot of sense as the 101 again this year. Bijan off the board, then Saquon. So with the start of Jamar, if you just hammer 3 running backs right after Jamar, it makes some sense to me. To me, it doesn't make much sense to get guys that are like insanely good at receiver after Jamar, because you have a guy who's like in Jamar Chase who has the upside to get 50 points. I mean, we've seen it already. And if you get a 50-point guy at receiver, you need running backs to really top that with, 15, 20. And you could have receivers that are 10, 15. It's all about projectable points in my eyes. So. This will be the last draft of the stream, though. So, like I say, I do appreciate you guys hanging out. It is Friday night, so you choose to hang out and draft with me. That's pretty fun. So, I do appreciate you guys hanging out, and makes me happy to know that people like to support and watch and just hang out. So, it's good vibes. Monra, Genty off the board. Derrick Henry, Genty as a start. H-An and Monra. That's fun. H-An and Monra is really fun. I like that start a lot. Genty and Derrick Henry. I think I would like H-An more on underdog if it was PPR, but it's half point PPR. So it really, to me, it's hard for me to justify that making a bunch of fun. I have a lot of H-An, so I'm not really sitting here I'm nitpicking. But if this was a PPR format, H-An would be insane. AJ Brown off the board. Drake London's still sitting there. Drake London goes. Everybody and their mother knows what the Week 17 matchup is with the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody and their mother knows it's Arizona. And everybody and their mother wants to get a piece of it. Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona. That just seems crazy. Those 3 games right there alone, Week 17, is just nuts. So I could see the double stack being a viable thing for people. I'm not going to push it up here. If we can get these 2, that'd be huge. I don't think we're going to, but if we do, that'd be huge. We got to figure out who our third pick is, though. Maybe Trey. I think we play into it and go Trey. We actually get him. Wow. That's extremely fun. Bucky Irving, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill. Extremely fun. Oh, man. What kind of contest is this? This is the Flock Community Contest. It is 3 entry max, $10 to enter per entry. 1 out of 12 in the first pod. Then it's 1 out of 2, 1 out of 2 for a 100-seat final. You got to make the final to make money, basically, Shane. So you got to make the finals to make money. I like it, though, because if you can get out of your first pod, you have a 1 out of 2 chance. The pod variance is very slim. Your pod variance is so low if you can make it out. Is it a hard contest to make it out of? Sure. But the pod variance is so low once you get out of the first round. It's insane. It's just a one-on-one contest at that point. And we've had some good drafts tonight. I don't know how long you've been in the stream, but we had some pretty good drafts tonight. I'll show them real quickly. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Okay, maybe I won't show them. Where are they at? Where the heck are they? They're just not showing. Oh, here they are. Okay. So I'll show real quick what we have. So we finished with the 2-5-8-3 on this one. Baker, 20 pick value in Brock. We got Naked Brock. Bijan, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Garindo, Miles Sanders at a huge value. Then we got Tyreek, Mike Evans. So we got the Week 17. We're playing Week 17 with Miami and Tampa Bay a lot in these. Addison, Igbuka, Tillman, Pierce, Keenan, and Darius Slayton last pick, pretty much. Then we got Andrews, Kraft, and Zach Ertz. That's probably one of my favorite teams I've drafted thus far in best ball. And then the first contest, we got Jaden Daniels, Geno Smith. We got 2-6-8-2, Alvin Kamara, RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon at pick 108, Ray Davis, and Taj Brooks, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Josh Downs, Romeo Dobbs, Dante Thornton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Tucker Kraft, and David Njoku, rounding that team out. So, overall, I think we've done well in these contests. Wow. Okay. Terry at pick 48 is just something that I'm not going to say no to. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. If he fall, okay, he didn't fall. But I was going to say, if he falls that far, I'm not saying no to it. Let's see. So we could go a variance of directions here. I think we go running back and double smack it here with Cook and Ken. I think that makes it really fun. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go Cook. We're going to go Ken. This is beautiful. I love this because we're sitting here pretty with Chase and Reek, two potential guys who have the upside to be the wide receiver one every week. And then we have three running backs who I feel have potentials to be RB1s every week. That's beautiful to me. We see a reacher on Burrow with Higgins. He didn't have to do that, which, whatever, I guess. If that's what you want to do, so be it. I'm okay with it. We can do the Kyler Murray, Michael Wilson if we really want to get weird and play that out. We can. Probably won't, though. That one with Daniels is fire. I don't like Evans or Hill that much. I mean, I get it, but like at the end of the day, I think they're both really good picks still, the more you think about it. Because like Mike Evans is a guy who's extremely consistent when he's on the field. And Tampa Bay, week 15, 16, 17, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, those three games right there have a potential to break slates. Honestly, all three of them do, scoring-wise. And I want every bit of that I can. Miami has Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Tampa Bay as their last three. And then Cincinnati, we sit here and talk about how good Cincinnati's offense is, man. Cincinnati's last three games is Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona. I mean, my gosh. Talk about potential for 30 points every single week the last 3 weeks from those teams. I mean, God bless. Like, all three of those teams easily can score 30 points in the last 3 weeks on each of those teams. The only one that I'm really concerned about is the Steelers for Miami. I mean, all three of these teams, let's be real here, are not good on defense at all. I mean, the Bengals defense is horrible. Miami Dolphins defense is beaten to smithers before the season even starts. And who is the other one I said? Oh, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Their defense is never good either. So it's like, what are we talking about, you know? I also think it's interesting Dallas right now because the Micah Parsons situation, if that ends up coming to fruition, I don't think the Dallas defense is all that good either. It just gets worse. And Dallas's last three games, where are they at? Minnesota, Chargers, and the Commanders. That's interesting. If we get Deebo Samuel on this team, I'm happy. I'm happy as heck. Deebo Samuel on this team is just sexy. And then we go get we even swing for the fences a little more and just go Jaden Reed. Oh my gosh. This team is sexy. This team is just something special. Let me tell you. This is one of those teams you look at and you're just like, wow. You got a value faller in Deebo who could potentially be the wide receiver one in a Jaden Daniels-led offense. And then you got Jaden Reed, also one of the most boom guys we've seen on Green Bay. If Jordan Love has a good bounce back year, which I think he very well easily could, my gosh, look out for this team. This team is just beautiful. I almost went Igbuka, but I just don't see the reason to go Igbuka over Jaden Reed. The only reason I would do that is I don't know. I don't even know if there's a world I would do that. The only way I would do that is if Godwin, like if they announce Godwin's out for like the first half of the year. That's the only way I would do that. The only bad thing about Green Bay is they have Denver, Chicago, and Baltimore as their week 15, 16, 17. Denver's a little scary week 15, but I think we got more than enough guys here talent-wise to sit here and just say, you know, we'll get over week 15 and get there anyways. So team got good depth. Yeah, the team's got really good depth. To be honest, I mean, team's got amazing depth. Let's be real. I mean, Bucky, James Cook, and Kenneth Walker as the running back room with Chase, Reek, Debo, and Jaden Reed as the receivers. It's pretty freaking good. I don't know how you can really say anything bad about this start so far. Let's see. I kind of want to see some other teams here. Neighbors, Thomas Tet, Jaden Daniels, Travion Kamara, Pacheco. Like Travion Kamara, Pacheco. How is that running back room even going to amount to even close to this running back room? Like Saquon Jacobs can at least get there. Gibbs Brown can at least get there. Hampton and Brian Robinson. Like, how are these teams going to get there? I don't know. Brock Bowers is fine, I guess, but like this is the team right here that I would be looking at and saying, okay, I would have went CD, JT, Trey. If you're going to do that, go Trey. And I definitely would have taken James Cook here instead of JMO. And then I would have went Waddle. You know, I probably wouldn't have went Myers either. I probably would have went either Pearsall or Diggs or Debo. That's what I would have done with that team. But because then you got two guys at running back who could be RB1s every week. You got a guy who's competing for the top receiver every week. You got a guy who's competing for the top tight end every week. It's so tough to beat that every week. You got, you know, it's just tough. It's really tough because like my team right now, I have two guys I feel could be receiver ones every week. Bucky, James, and Ken could be running back ones every week. Devo and Reed, those are very solid options. I'm not going to sit here and say they're amazing, but they're pretty dang good. Broncos last 3 weeks. I know. Let's see. What is the Broncos last 3? Green Bay, Jacksonville, and Kansas City. That's fun. That's extremely fun. Also, all things considered. Let's see. We don't want to screw this team up necessarily. Let's see. I think we're going to go Bo Nix. And I think we're going to go Kelsey. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, that's what we did. So, Bo Nix and Kelsey get a little bit of that week 17 correlation again in a different way. I do think we could get Bo Nix and get some of his cheaper guys at the end here. I think they have a good schedule, and you also get some week 15 correlation in here. I know not a lot of people talk about the last 3. A lot of people talk about the last 1 because that's where the money's at, especially. But we want to make sure that we have enough to get there to the money also. I think Bo Nix's rushing upside is pretty understated, how good and how solid that is in his game. Baker Mayfield obviously has a little bit of a hand contusion going on right now. Not sure. I don't think it's really anything to worry about, but it's there. So we just took Baker in the last draft too. We don't want to really double up there, especially when we don't have any of the targets but Bucky Irving. I'm okay taking a naked guy if he's, past ADP, especially for the value sake. But for this team's sake, I think this is a really fun pick. I think it's really fun. I really like the start so far, though. I mean, this team is pretty incredible, all things considered. Not a lot of rookie upside, which, I mean, let's be real. I don't know that the class was all that great other than running back. And even the running backs where they landed, it's tough for me to envision anybody outside of Genty and Hampton really being in competing for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Tet is the only guy that I could really see being Offensive Rookie of the Year in that conversation. Travion is not going to get a full workload. Judkins is, we know where Judkins is. Who else? RJ Harvey, maybe. Maybe. That's a big maybe to me. Luther Burden, I don't think he's going to get enough opportunity to really get there. Mason Taylor, the tight ends, we're just going to call them the tight ends. I'm not going to list them all out. Terrence Ferguson, Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, not going to get enough opportunity for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Quarterback-wise, Cam Ward, I don't see him outperforming Genty for Offensive Rookie of the Year, stuff like that. I could be wrong, but it's not like Cam Ward is in an ideal situation set up for success. 100% success anyways. Caleb Williams off the board with Rome. Caleb and Rome as a stack. That's kind of nice. What if Hunter wins both defense and offense Rookie of the Year? Well, if that happens, then I was definitely wrong. I mean, I was 100% wrong about Travis, and, we'll keep things pushing. Here's what I will say, though. I am betting on an outcome that has a minus 350 or a minus 350 that Terry McLaurin doesn't even move is what I'm betting on with Debo. I think it's viable. I don't think getting Debo at this price is bad by any means. By any stretch of the imagination, do I think that is not a bad price. I don't know. It's an interesting price to me. I think if you go Jordan Love here, you get real fun, real fast. So that's what we're going to do. We're definitely going to smack Jordan Love. I just got to figure out what we're going to do with the next pick here. Because it's not Kirk. It could just be Mims. We could just be really boring and take Mims. That might be what we do. We could go Loveland. I think that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to smack Loveland here. And Jordan Love. Make sure that we get both those kind of upside swings in here. I think it makes a lot of sense to go that route. We also, a good thing about that is Green Bay, we're playing like a week 16 kind of deal here because we know Chicago plays Green Bay week 16. So that's kind of nice to know in the back of my mind. We also have Denver week 15. So we're playing out the Green Bay Pack almost the whole schedule, really, except for Baltimore week 17. So, I think Dobbs is an interesting choice later that we could take with this team, Dobbs and Reed, just to kind of ping pong back and forth on big games potentially. Because realistically speaking, I think the one thing you could say about Green Bay is we really don't know who the main guy is. So getting two of them is really not going to be a huge deal. I think if you get two, I think you could argue you could get three guys from Green Bay and still be fine, personally. Because if one of them has a good week, it's going to be with Love, and Love's going to get there regardless if one of them has a good week. So you're basically trying to secure a big week there in one of your receiver slots or tight end slot. I mean, Kraft is another guy that really can fit into that mold as well. That makes sense. So this guy doesn't even have a quarterback yet, which is interesting. You take Herbert here and you take the projected points and you keep it moving. That's what you do here if you're this guy. Yep, exactly. That is exactly what you do. You take Herbert, you take projected points, and you move on. I mean, and you take Quentin Johnson. There you go. There's a little singular stack there that makes sense. Okay. So this guy's team I'm a big fan of. And once again, the 12 spot, I feel like the 12 spot is one of the easiest positions to draft from. And I simply put, just I'm going to say you get two studs, and that's why. I mean, it's so easy to draft from that spot. You can get Achane, Amon-Ra. There's just so many ways you can go. Okay, this is my first fantasy football season coming up. I want to draft Travis Hunter, but don't know where to place him. Travis Hunter in redraft is a really tricky one to ask about, Isaiah, but welcome to the stream. I'm comfortable. If we look at this draft here, Travis Hunter's going around Olave, Jennings, Addison, Myers, Zay Flowers. I'm taking Rome over him. I'm taking Zay over him. I'm taking Olave over him. I'm taking Addison over him. I'm taking Judy over him. I'm taking Diggs over him. That's about where I'm drawing the line. I'd consider him over Pearsall. I'd actually consider him over Diggs. That's probably where I'd be. Cam Scatterbo, I'm totally out on. Totally out on him. I don't think he's very good. I think if his name was literally anything else, he would just not even be talked about. Maybe that's a little hot takey for some people. I'm just not a big Cam Scatterbo guy. So you won't find me talking much good about Cam. But I don't really get the hype with Cam. Salute, sir. I just subbed. I appreciate that, Isaiah. I appreciate it. Hopefully you can come in and check out some more streams. We're going to be streaming quite a bit. So got a lot of drafts coming up and got a lot of good contests to fill. So, we'll be here a lot of nights trying to draft. So, appreciate you subbing up and supporting the channel. I do appreciate that. But yeah, Cam Scatterbo to me is a guy that we talk about because he had aura in college, and that's about it. He's not very explosive. He's on a bottom 5 offense in the league, most likely, anyways. A team, either way we slice it, even if they're not a bottom 5 offense, they're going to have a bottom 5 record. I mean, the Giants are horrible. So it's like they're going to want to put the guy out there that could be a receiver that can, move the ball. And that's not Scatterbo. That's Tracy. I don't care about Tracy's fumbling problems. I would be taking Tracy over Scatterbo. I think Scatterbo is not really a guy that I'm looking to draft. I don't have a lot of them. I don't think he's that good, personally. I personally am avoiding Scatterbo, especially in redraft. So I'm not going to limit myself here and say we have to block ourselves into a running back here. But I do think it would not be a bad idea to go with a running back if we can get one that I like. So if we can get one of these 3 guys, I'll live. People have been pumping Nick Chubb up to like 130, 140. I don't get it. I will never be drafting Nick Chubb if that's the case. Pat Bryant goes at 158. I was really wanting to get Pat Bryant at this turn. Dang, that sucks because of the Bo Nix. But it looks like we're going to have to go single stack Mims, or we go Troy Franklin Mims. That sucks. I really wanted to get Pat Bryant for the upside swing there of Cortland Sutton maybe getting an injury and then Pat Bryant being better than expected. That sucks. Oh well, is what it is. I'm just not sure how it works. Is he a wide receiver or a defensive player? I think my brother said we'll be using the NFL Fantasy or Sleeper app. So if you're using the Sleeper app, he will be a receiver. And if you're in an IDP league, you can play him in both, corner and receiver. I don't think, from the sounds of it, you're playing in an IDP league, so he'll be listed as a wide receiver. And realistically, what they do is they'll put wide receiver / DB, and then they'll count as points for receiver. And if he returns a pick, I believe he gets the points for the touchdown as well on Sleeper anyways. I don't know how it is on the NFL app, but I know on Sleeper that if he returns an interception, that he does get the points for it. I don't know if he gets like interception points for picking it off himself, but I do know that he gets points as far as that goes. Adam Thielen is a really boring but fun click in these lobbies. So is Eckler. We're going to go Eckler here, I think. I think we got to really lean into the fact that Eckler's going to be a decent guy to have. And I think Adam Thielen is a really solid, fun kind of play. It's a boomer play that I don't necessarily hate. I also don't hate Miles Sanders or Alec Pierce as a play. We'll go. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Well, we auto drafted Miles Sanders, so our running back room is done. Let's just put it that way. We got a lot of guys here that I'm okay with at receiver, so I'm okay with that too. Whatever. We'll just say whatever to it and move on. Whatever, we move on. If we don't get Thielen, we don't get Thielen. There's a lot of guys here that I'm like just cool with clicking. Anyways, so is what it is. We really need to establish, though, if we need a third tight end. I think we could use one maybe if it's viable and it's like Jonnu Smith. Because I think Jonnu Smith could be interesting as a pick. Especially at 180. He's been falling. Mason Taylor's another guy that I'm somewhat interested in. Correlation-wise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to do those guys. Other than Jonnu, because of the Miami stuff. But other than that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of correlation here. Yeah. Give me Wan'Dale Robinson over all those guys. I think Wan'Dale is a guy who has a good floor. I just don't know what his ceiling really is. And I think Alec Pierce is so entertaining to watch and an entertaining kind of guy to have on your team. And he just makes a lot of sense. Darnold goes off the board. We definitely don't need a third quarterback in this room. I'm finding myself saying that a lot more recently. Just 3 quarterbacks limits your upside so many places, and it just feels bad to do that. So, wide receiver 3 last year, showing he can get solid targets, got an upgrade. I think a lot of the target thing was Daniel Jones, though. Like, I don't think Daniel Jones is very good at making reads, and I think he just stares down who he wants to throw to. And Wan'Dale is kind of like the guy in the slot that's closest to him in the formation, so he stares him down a lot. I don't. Maybe that's just me just hating. I don't know, but this guy here has 8 receivers. Interesting. Let's see what his running back room looks like. I'm kind of Acham, Brees, Connor, Ray Davis, and Algier. That's fun. That's fun, sort of, kind of. Amon-Ra, Rome, Higgins, Mooney, Hollywood Brown, Pat Bryant, Alec Pierce, Wan'Dale, and then George Kittle. I really wish I had this Pat Bryant pick, but it's okay. We'll live. We'll live without it. I don't know that we have to go a third tight end. I don't think we do. And if we do, realistically, I really don't know who's like a home run hitting kind of guy. MVS maybe could be interesting. Yeah, Mason Taylor goes. That's unfortunate for us. I mean, double tapping these two, in my opinion, is not necessarily a bad play. I really don't think it's a bad play. I do think we're gonna double. I think we're at least gonna tap Keenan. I don't know if I'm gonna I don't know if I'm gonna tap Slayton though. I kind of want to go Calvin Austin. I think we're gonna go Calvin Austin. I want to get a little bit different with that because I know we have the Miami-Pittsburgh thing kind of going here. I think Calvin Austin is the receiver 2 on that team. And I also think he has some boom potential, especially with Aaron Rodgers there now. So it makes a lot of sense for me to click him. I don't know that Roman Wilson is necessarily the guy that we want him to be. He has some good news. He has some steam, but I don't know how much I love Roman Wilson. I mean, just injuries last year really killed his momentum, feels like. And Calvin Austin really had a step forward season last year with terrible quarterback play, by the way. So, I think Calvin Austin has a lot of steam. Obviously, he's small, but I mean, 548 yards, 4 touchdowns. You know, those are all big bombs. Kind of hope you can get that from him. That's what you're hoping for. So, did you catch the Chargers Detroit? I did. I did watch the whole thing. I'm gonna say this now. I did place one slip on it, and shout out Hendon Hooker for making me getting my first L of the year, and not running the football, and the Lions being absolutely garbage in their third and fourth units. The Chargers' fourth unit made the Lions' freaking third and fourth unit look like an absolute shit show. So, you know, I feel bad for the Lions. If any stringers get hurt, I don't have a team, but I'm trying to find a team to root for this season. I'm more of an MMA basketball fan. Hey, man, if you want to join in the Broncos country, you know, we always got room for that hype. I think the Broncos country is a really active room right now. So I was kind of hoping to maybe get Rodgers as the third quarterback in this draft. I debated it a little bit. Won't lie. Tight end could be interesting. There's no quarterbacks here really worth taking at this point. What do you guys think? Do you think it's worth taking another receiver here, or should we go running back upside play here with like Taj or Harquez? What do you guys think, chat? Or do we go tight end here and try to get like a... I don't even know who I would take at tight end, to be quite frank. Tight end is looking like a total waste dump. They took Jawan Jennings, so I think tight end might be cooked. Tight end might be cooked, honestly. Yeah, tight end's looking really bad. I mean, Waller. Oh, God, I don't want to take Waller. I mean, Jesus, bro. You almost got to look at running backs here. There's so many good running backs sitting here. Giddens, Hill. There's guys that can hit your lineup there still. Monangai. I'm not a big Lloyd guy. Emmanuel Wilson. We could really buy into that offense and go with the cuff there and Emmanuel Wilson. What do you guys think, chat? Not a tight end guy, though. Tight end here is really bad. Really bad. I'm not taking Waller. I'm just not doing it. We're just going to have to say that tight end Travis and Loveland are good. Taj Brooks is off the board. I mean, Harquez Hunter is kind of hard not to take here, to be honest. I think that's what we're going to do is Hunter. Is there any quarterbacks? I mean, Russ, but I'm not taking Russ. It's just not happening. I'm not a big fan of any of those guys. I think we're going to go Harquez. Or Justice Hill. We got to go Justice Hill, dude. We know he's going to be the guy. We know he's going to get at least volume. We got to go Justice Hill. All right. So there's the team. Justice Hill is the final pick. We'll go look at it real quick. That's the three. I feel like I had to go Justice Hill for the projectable volume that he's going to have. I love Harquez. Yeah, it was between Harquez and Justice Hill. Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Bucky Irving, James Cook, Ken Walker, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Justice Hill, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, Romeo Dobbs, Keenan Allen, Calvin Austin III, Travis Kelce, and Colston Loveland rounded it out on the third team here. We see Ja'Cory Krosky get left on the board. We see Hunter get left on the board. We see Giddens get left on the board. I mean, Giddens is a guy that I am taking in any draft, but I'm also taking Justice Hill in any draft too. So I think Justice Hill is an extra. Like, the thing about Keaton Mitchell, I know he's there. I know he exists, but like, even if Derrick Henry goes down, are we just going to completely disregard the fact that Justice Hill is extremely talented as a runner too, and just put Keaton Mitchell right back in there? I just don't see that happening. The coaches say, from what the coaches have said, they're keeping Keaton Mitchell around for the vibes, and maybe he gets back to his explosiveness that he had. but my God, dude, Justice Hill showed a lot last season, in my opinion. And he's shown a lot the last couple seasons that just, make you kind of go, wow. He's a very explosive kind of guy, especially as a receiver. Like, it's a really fun guy to watch. So it's tough for me to sit here and say that I think Keaton Mitchell has much of a role, even if Derrick Henry goes out. It's tough for me to sit here and say that. I do think we got two guys up top here that hit our lineup every single week in Reek and Jamar. And then you got your third receiver, which you hope Debo hits your lineup most weeks. You got Reed. You got some guys here that make a lot of sense. Running back room wise, you got two guys that are probably going to hit the lineup every week between these three. And you got some viable guys during bye weeks that can fill those roles pretty easily, I would say. And you got a couple of them at a pretty good discount here. So that's really nice to see. But yeah, that's the draft. We're maxed now. So like I said, these contests are dropping every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So Sunday, we should be back for probably more of these. If you guys want to do these drafts and get in on Underdog, make sure y'all do. $10, only 3 entry max, 4,800 entrants, so small field. That makes it a lot easier as well. 1 out of 12 advance, obviously, that is a very low advance rate first round. Then you got a 50-50 shot in the next 2. So if you can get one of these teams through and you get the 50-50 shot to get to a 100-seat final, you got a chance. You got a good chance. So this is one of my favorite contests, the contest that creators drop because the rake's lower too. So pretty good rake size there as well. So yeah, like I said, they're dropping these contests every Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Or no, Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday. Can you do a quick mock draft for me from the 112? Sure, why not? We can do a quick mock. We're gonna go on Flock Fantasy to do it though. Let's see. Flock Fantasy did put out a new tool, which is a range of outcomes tool, which is interesting because if we look at this, we can kind of see if we want to, kind of look at this, we can. This is kind of cool though. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool actually. But anyway, I haven't seen that tool yet, so let me see. Where are those? Here we go. Mock draft, PPR. You don't really get to choose the format though, Strive. So, it is what it is. From the 12 spot. Okay. Move to the 12 spot. We have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receiver, or 3 wide receiver, 2 flex. So basically we flip them around. Wide receivers might get pushed up a little, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, if you guys want to join in, I will put the link in chat here. If you guys want to join, can. It's a live draft, gets other people, so take that for what it is. Or I could do it on Sleeper. I could do it on Sleeper if you guys want me to do it on Sleeper. I just don't like drafting against AIs. So maybe we can find an actual draft going on. Maybe let's go to the mock drafts tab and see. Maybe there could be something. You never know, but let's see mock drafts. You're going to be lucky if Nico's sitting there. I'd say Brian Thomas and A-Chan are going to be the 2 guys that you see. I don't know why this isn't loading, but I've had problems with this recently. I might just have to do this to where it's... Yeah, this isn't going to fill very quick. Let's see. PPR. It's just 1 quarterback, right, Strive? Let's see. No 3rd round reversal. I know you said that. I know you want to see me do this. So save. Roster. Go ahead and take that out. Take that out. Add 1. Okay. I think that looks right. Let's see. I think that's right. We'll do 30 seconds. I don't know how long your clock is, but we'll do 30 seconds. Okay. So I'm gonna claim. If you guys want, you can hop in a draft. If you want, I'll give it a few minutes here. I'll put the link in the chat. You guys can hop in if you want to do a sleeper draft. I'll give it a few minutes. See if anybody wants to mock up here. We'll do a quick one. And then we're probably going to call it a stream after this. Just because I have gotten, this will be my 4th draft of the night. So probably should call it a night after this one. So. Strive, if you want, you can have the 12 spot. If you want it. I don't know if there's going to be that many people that join, but hey, you want the 12 spot, you can have it. It's up to you. Nah, okay. You just want to see what I'm going to do? Okay, that's fine. Anybody else wants to join? I'll leave it up for a second, but I'll just go ahead and start it. There's not anybody in here, so I'll just go ahead and start it. All right. CD 103, Jefferson 104, Bijan, Fowler, Monra, Gibbs, Duca, Henry, Neighbors. Okay, well, Nico does fall. I'm probably personally going to go Nico, Achan. PPR league, I like Achan quite a bit, so that's where I'm going to go. McCaffrey in the 2nd round, I don't see that. I don't foresee that happening at all. So I don't like auto drafting these, but, you know, take it for what it is. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do while this fills. So. JT off the board. Higgins. He goes the Cincinnati double. Interesting. Kyron, Chase Brown, Jaden Daniels off the board. Cook. All right, so let's see. We got Achan, Nico. I kind of like that start so far. I think we're going to go I like Terry. I'm not a big Marvin fan. We're going to push Amarion up here and go Amarion Hampton. And I think we're going to go Terry McLaurin or Jalen Hurts. I think we're going to go Terry, though. Yeah, we're going to go Terry. I like this start. I like this start so far. So far, so good. You misclicked? I don't know who you meant to take, but not a bad start. Burrow goes all the way over here, so you don't get the quarterback for your double stack. That kind of sucks. Let's see. So I see Chuba Hubbard, DK Metcalf. I'm not a big DK guy this year, but he's not horrible. I'm really hoping we get J-Mo here. Very good. We get Pickens and J-Mo, which is extremely nice. I'm double tapping there. So far we got Nico, Achan, Hampton, Terry, Pickens, and Jameson Williams. If this is your team at the 12, you are cheesing. I mean, my gosh, you are cheesing. You are smiling from ear to ear, and you are happy as hell. Because this is an extremely solid team. But, like, it's not realistic because, like, this team right here has 4 running backs and 1 wideout. Like, I don't see that happening. And Tracy being a wide receiver or your running back 1, like, that's not going to happen either. So this whole thing is just so hard to, like, base it off of. And now I'm going to get Ridley and, like, a tight end that I really like, and Ingram or Andrews. So I'm going to go Andrews, I think, here. I mean, this team is insane. If this is the team you end up with, this is beautiful. Because, like, now I can really look at running backs and try to figure it out. Because we don't need any more receivers, realistically. You have Ridley, you have J-Mo, you have Pickens, you have Terry, and you have Nico. Like, that's a really good 5 to really sit here and play with. So Jennings and Ayuk. I mean, Ayuk's probably going to miss a little bit, so I don't know if I'd pick Ayuk in this format. You're going to need guys who honestly can win a job as of right now. I think Ramondre is a very underrated guy who can get the job still. I think Mason is another extremely okay guy that can win if Aaron Jones goes down. So if Aaron Jones goes down, you know, you got Jordan Mason, Ramondre. You got a couple options here. Quarterback-wise, this is where you start looking. Dak, Love. You just take a guy who can get you points at this point. Justin Fields, Drake May, you know, any of those guys are fine. If you can get one of those guys, you're good. We're really hoping we get Drake May, though. All right, Drake May it is. So Drake May off the board. And then we get another maybe tight end here and like Zach Ertz. Pretty boring picks. But overall, I mean, I think this is a really fun team. You got Nico, Achane, Hampton, Terry, Pickens, Jameson, Ridley, Andrews, Ramondre, Jordan Mason, Drake May, Zach Ertz. Really fun team, I'd say, overall. We'll go, let's see. Jerome Ford could help early. Let's see. Is there anybody? Miles Sanders. Take him. What's the Hampton hype? The Hampton hype is Najee Harris is currently hurt. They don't know when he's going to be back. They have no idea when he's going to be back. And I think Hampton is he's one of the best rookie running backs. He's the second probably best running back out of North Carolina. Really great build. Good runner. Good receiver, too. Can catch the ball in the backfield. Overall, I mean, he's one of the best running back, prospects that was in the class this year, not named Genty. He was the second best running back prospect in the class this year, not named Genty. If he was in the class last year, I think there's a very good chance we could be talking about him as the best running back prospect from the class last year pretty easily. I mean, the best one last year was like Jonathan Brooks, and he ended up sucking. And Trey Benson was another one that was in that class. He's by far and away better than those. And honestly, I think you can already put like in an offense that's run first anyways, and Greg Roman loves to use his running backs. Hampton is just the perfect fit. I mean, he's the perfect kind of runner in Greg Roman offense. So it makes a lot of sense for Hampton. Achane is your PPR running back, which, I mean, he gives you good floor there, which is really nice. Ramondre, Jordan, Jerome Ford, and Miles Sanders. These two guys right now have a good chance of being the starter for their team. So you're getting guys that have the upside to be that. And then you're getting two really premium handcuffs here with Ramondre, who honestly, Ramondre could start at the beginning of the year. We'll see. And Mason, if something happens to Aaron Jones, Mason, you instantly see become kind of an RB that you want to have. Even without Tua, though, like Achane's fine. Like Achane to me is a top 5 running back that you can get. And he's after Saquon, Bijan, Gibbs, Genty, and Henry. Like, I would prefer Achane to McCaffrey at this point. I would go Nico. I would anchor your guy here with your receiver, and then I would get a running back. I probably would go Achane. If McCaffrey falls this far, you take McCaffrey. I didn't even realize McCaffrey fell that far, honestly. I probably should have went McCaffrey here. Because, like, if I could redo it, I would just do McCaffrey instead of Achane. So Nico, McCaffrey, Hampton, and then you just hammer these wide receiver 2 and 3s. If you can get guys like at this value, that'd be phenomenal. You wait on quarterback, though. The only way you don't wait on quarterback is if you get one at an extreme value. Like if Hurts comes and he's in the 5th round and you get Hurts at the 5-12, you take Hurts. Period. You don't let Hurts drop. Or if you get one of these elite guys at the 3-12, take it. If you get Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson at the 3-12, I think you take it. Because the 4th round, you could double tap here anyways, so that's nice. You could take quarterback, running back here, and then you could have went Pickens, Jameson, Ridley, and then taken Roma Dunze here, waited one more round at tight end, and got like a Colston Loveland and Jake Furr, Tucker Kraft, I mean, that's another option that I could do and make sense. Stacking really doesn't matter. I only took Drake May because A, he was the last guy I like, and B, he actually has speed and has rushing upside with him. So I tagged him onto the team because it made sense. So, but yeah, let's see. Is the flock draft started? No, the flock draft's not even close to starting. I'm leaving this. But yeah, so we did a quick redraft there. Like I said, if you guys want to enter the flock community contest, one of the better contests on Underdog, I think, right now, other than the Husky. I think these two are the best contests on there right now, and they're both about to fill, so they'll probably be full tomorrow. So let's say we get some more contests tomorrow. Obviously, the flock one won't happen tomorrow. It'll happen Sunday. So this one, we might get a contest tomorrow to replace it. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for me. Appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out tonight, giving me some good talks, some good vibes, and 2-hour stream. It's a pretty good stream, especially for just ripping drafts. So, like I said, appreciate y'all hanging out, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Make sure y'all like and subscribe down below, and I'll see y'all